Hi, it's Alexis. Welcome back. A new video today. I'm gonna explain you the 9 mistakes I see when people try to contact their ex. It's so important to get back in touch with your ex, and I see that there's a lot of people using the wrong techniques or having the wrong approaches. And that's why I wanted to highlight in this video the 9 mistakes, common mistakes that we see when people try to contact their ex. Number one, and it's mostly the most common one, is asking the other for explanations. And the reality of a breakup, most of the time, it's more instinct than rational. When someone decides to break up with someone, it's not so much rational, it's very much an instinct saying, like, that's my sixth sense saying, I shouldn't be with that person. So when you go and try to seek for explanation, it wouldn't necessarily work. And also, the other thing I wanted to highlight here is that you don't want to approach your ex with a heavy heart or being very having deep conversation or these kind of things. It needs to be at the beginning very light, fun, approachable, rather than just being rational. You've said this and I've analyzed this, and why did you say that a month after? It doesn't work. It would really damage the your win back strategy in that sense. The number 2 is similar to explanation, is the logic approach, saying, analyzing all what she said, what he said. 6 months ago you said I love you, and now you're breaking up with me. What happened? All these kind of things don't work, because again, you need to be fun, you need to be funny, you need to be light. You don't want to, as if you put yourself in the shoes of your ex, she or he doesn't want to have someone with bothering her with explanations and logic and rationality and so on. You need to find someone who is fun and basically easygoing on that approach at the beginning. Then you analyze things and sit down with your ex. But to engage with your ex, don't go in the trap of trying to be logic and analyzing things. It doesn't work. The third one is idealistic, or having this ideal image of your ex. I've always hear this kind of feedback that I will never find someone that's amazing for me. What does that mean? It means that you are here and she or he is here, and therefore you will never be able to get to that level without anyone else. A couple is, and I say that very often, is someone with someone at the same level. There's no one smarter, one more beautiful. It's just you're at the same level. And if you think in an ideal way of your ex, thinking she's way too good for me or he's way too good for me and I'll never get something like that, you having the wrong approach. You need to think more about yourself, what you really want, who you really are. You know, you are a beautiful person. You need to acknowledge that. Okay, and stop thinking about your ex as someone, the perfect partner, and so on. That's really, really bad. The fourth one, and this one is a tip that will save you a lot of money, is gift. Buying stuff to your ex, jewelry, bags, PlayStation, whatever. It doesn't work, because if you think about it, if you were to seduce something, and let's say I buy, I don't know, a watch to a woman, and say, okay, now just put your watch, now we can have sex and be in a relationship. You see that the relationship becomes more a financial transaction. And so by the same effect, and I agree, it's a bit of an extreme example, but it's a bit silly, but anyway, you get my point. By buying gift, you're not fixing the relationship. Or it's not only gift, could be services like you're doing the shopping and the grocery for your ex it's really not helpful. It doesn't really help. It's actually blurring the message of you trying to win back your ex. The fifth one, this one is mainly from guys, is the proposal. Guys thinking, yeah, we decided, a few months ago we talked about creating family, raising kids and so on. Now we have this breakup. I'm gonna go back and ask her to marry me. It doesn't work on itself if you haven't worked on you first. And I would argue that when you start a fire, you always start with a small sparkle. You don't go with a flame launcher or a bazooka. Just try to be subtle. So when you go back and re-engage with your ex, don't use that technique, please. Because first, there's so much at stake. Maybe it's 50-50, she'd say yes. 50-50, she says no. Well, maybe try to get to the 95% she get into meeting you for a coffee. And then 95% again that she'll get another coffee with you, and you build and build like that. But you don't start with being like boom, because you start from a point where it's too high, and then what's gonna happen next? Once you do the proposal, what you're gonna fly with a plane and get off with a parachute and with flowers, and what next can you do? So you have to build from the bottom rather than just trying to have this silver bullet, because it doesn't work, and it's honestly too risky. Don't do that. The number 6 is what I call the quick fix. Is you come to your ex and you say, oh yeah, you said that I was too fit, or didn't take care of my body. I just registered to the gym and I've changed. Let's go back together. It doesn't work, because usually we say that someone who decides to break up with someone has nurtured the decision through a period of time. Usually it's a third of the relationship. So if you were together for 3 years, your ex might have started to think about breaking up with you 1 year ago. Okay? So when you come back to that person a week after, say like, yep, I've changed. Everything you said, it's okay, it's quick, it's fixed. I'm a new person. She or he wouldn't believe that, because their thought process was way longer than just a week or 2 weeks or a couple of weeks. So you need to acknowledge that going back to the person saying, yeah, I've changed, and it's almost a quick fix, because you can't really fix that damage in such a short period of time. So think about, it's great that you acknowledge that something was wrong, that's something you're working on, but don't think that by doing that very quickly and going back quickly immediately to your ex would work. It takes some time, and it's something we always advise: take your time. The number 7 is jealousy. Very common. I have a funny story about that. One day when I was single back in the days, I was at a club and a girl asked me to take a picture with her. And I was like, okay, yeah, she's super pretty, why not? She asked me to post it on Facebook, and I later realized that she was doing that so her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend at the time could be jealous. Honestly, this technique is a bit silly. It works when you're 15 or 16, but using Instagram or Facebook in such direct way also could damage, because if you put yourself in their shoes, of course they'll have some anger, but they also think, who is that person who's just using other people or just pretending that he's happy, but actually I know he's really sad. So use social media to show that you're happy, to show that you are growing up, you are moving forward, not in a sense that you're forgetting your ex, but let's say, again, you're working on yourself, you're learning new things, you're discovering new things, you're meeting new people. But don't use that jealousy tool, because honestly, it could work, but it's a very short-term tactic. And you could also have the your ex later in the relationship using that, you know, who was that girl, who was that guy. So honestly, jealousy is really, you're starting from a bad foundation using jealousy. Number 8 is threat. So threats, I'm struggling to say it. Threatening the other, either by an extreme example, I'm gonna commit suicide. If you dump me, you know, if you have kids, if you dump me, you're not gonna see your kids. All these kind of things. Again, it's very short-termist thinking, because your ex doesn't want to have anything negative with you. You don't want to show any negative things to your ex. You want to come with a positive attitude, positive solutions. Again, if you're thinking of telling your ex, you know, I'm going to commit suicide, of course she or he would action and do something about it, but it would not fix your relationship, and it would actually damage your relationship, because once you've reached that threshold or that limit, then how can you come back from that? You won a small battle of getting your ex to come back in your surroundings, but you definitely lost the battle around fixing things, because you lost trust and respect from your ex by doing that. So don't threat, it's really bad. And the number 9 is spamming. So again, very common. You look at your phone and all the messages you see on the right hand side, like long text, and the answer is like, okay, great, sure. That's a sign that you might be spamming your ex. Don't do that. Again, be fun, light, don't over. And I know people tend to think that they need a lot of words or explanations, and be very, I thought of you because blah, blah, blah. That's it. Or, oh yeah, I've done that the other day, and that's it. Always remember the rule of 1 and 1. You send one text and you wait for the other one to reply with one text or WhatsApp or whatever. You shouldn't be the one sending 3 WhatsApps and receive 1 WhatsApp. 3, 5, 10 emails, 1 email back. Always remember the 1, 1. It's the basic of sort of seduction. And try to be hard to get, or don't be too keen. You're too cool to be keen. Okay? So don't spam. I know it's, again, maybe with having the logic or explanation thing is very common. Don't try to limit yourself. And the easy things to do is to remember the rule of 1 and 1. Well, these were the 9 mistakes people make when they try to get in touch with their ex. I hope they're helpful. If there's any others, if you find those mistakes helpful and you know that you basically can act on this, let me know. Please feel free to comment, and I'll see you next time.